Hello everybody, today we are going to be cooking a ham and cheese omelet, and this is one of my top 6x16 recipes that I will be making for 16-year-olds. So first thing you want to do when you're in the kitchen and cooking, you want to put on your apron. As we can see here, we have it. Let's go throw this bad boy on right here, and then you want to tie it. So once we've thrown on the apron, now what you're going to want to do is wash the hands, okay? First step when washing your hands is to turn on the water. Once you've done that, you want to roll up your sleeves, and then you want to rinse your hands, okay? You want to make sure the hands are rinsing into the water. Then once you've done that, you want to go over here to your soap and get a good amount of soap on the hands, and then what you want to do is just start washing them. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. All you want to do is make sure you're washing the hands and disinfecting them so there's no germs when cooking and no bacteria getting in your food. So once we've washed off all the soap, now what you're going to want to do is get your towel, dry your hands off, and then turn off the tap with your towel. So now we are going to get into the cutting. We're starting off with cutting our onion right here, and when making this omelet, we're going to be using 1 tablespoon of onions. So first we're going to want to split this bad boy down the middle right here. And then we're gonna put our other half right here as we don't need all of it. Then what we're gonna do from here is also split it down the half once again. So I've noticed that I'm also not gonna need another one of these quarters right here. So I'm gonna go put this away because this is all I need. This comes out to around a tablespoon of onion. And now from here, what we're gonna wanna do is just keep cutting it up into smaller pieces, just like this right here. Then once you've gotten it in these 4 slices, you're gonna wanna go and slice it once again down this way. Then once you've gotten them in these cube sizes, you wanna go ahead, grab them all together right here, get them all into a circle right here, and then you're gonna wanna use the rock and chop technique right here and basically just dice them up. So now we are going to be moving on to our next ingredient, which is the ham slices right here. So we're gonna be grabbing 3 ham slices right here to cut up in our omelet. So once you've gotten your ham slices, what you're gonna wanna do is stack them into 3 right here. And all you're gonna wanna do is just start cutting them, okay? You just wanna keep cutting it into smaller pieces. As we can see, I'm going just cutting these into little slices right here. Then once we finish this, we're gonna go slice it the opposite direction. Okay, let me just finish this right here. Slice it one more time. Perfect. Now we got nice diagonal, and what you're gonna want to do is go the other way as well. We're gonna go this way now. So now we kind of have like the same thing going on with the onions, but with the ham. And so now we are moving on to our next ingredient, which is the cheese right here, and we're gonna be getting 1 tablespoon. So we don't need that much, and we're gonna be grating it right here with the grater. So all you want to do is just grab your cheese and go nice and slowly down the grater so you got those perfect cuts with the cheese right there. And like I said, we don't need too much, so I'm only gonna do this this is literally my last time doing it, and that's all the cheese we need right there, as we just need a tablespoon. That's about it. So now with our final and last ingredient for the omelet, we're gonna be using parsley, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're gonna be cutting it up. We only need 1/4 teaspoon, so we don't need a lot, and we're gonna be mincing this bad boy up. So all you wanna do is just cut it just like this. Here you go, right there, just cut it. Make sure you also curve in your thumb when you are cutting, and you wanna make sure when cutting that you're right against your knuckles so you can't cut your finger. So now we are moving over to the eggs. Now for this omelet, we only need 3 eggs, so here we go. Let's just go ahead, grab 3 eggs right here, and then what you're gonna wanna do is crack them in the bowl. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead, get that guy all cracked up, and then what we wanna do is just open it up and get it in, just like that. Wanna make sure you get all the egg too, and boom, there you have it, 1 egg. Now we're gonna do this 2 more times. What you're gonna wanna do is now wash your hands since we got egg on them. You wanna make sure to turn on the water first, rinse your hands right here, make sure you get all the egg off. Then what you're gonna wanna do, go ahead, get your soap right here, there you have it. Then you just wanna lather it up right there. Make sure your hands are nice and clean and disinfected. So now that we've gotten the eggs within the bowl, what you're gonna wanna do is grab your pepper. Then we're also gonna wanna get our salt after, but all you wanna do is just get a dash of pepper in here. Then you're gonna wanna do the same thing with the salt, just a nice little dash of both. So now with our next step, what you're gonna wanna do is grab your whisk, and then you're gonna wanna start beating up the eggs right here, as we can see right here in the bowl. Now with our next step, what we're gonna wanna do is grab your parsley right here, and you're gonna wanna slide this into the bowl with the eggs, and then we're gonna mix it up right now. Now that we've gotten it in the bowl, what you're gonna wanna do is do the same old process and just mix it up real quick, just like this. So now with our next step, when making this omelet, what you're gonna wanna do is grab your milk, and you're gonna wanna get a tablespoon right here. So what you're gonna wanna do, just pour the milk right here. Make sure you get a tablespoon. We got a little bit more than a tablespoon, but never hurts to add a little bit more. So now that we've gotten it in the bowl, what you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and repeat the same process and mix up the eggs right here, just like this. So now after beating up the eggs, what you're gonna wanna get is your pan right here, because we're gonna be cooking it on the stove. And when cooking with a pan, you wanna make sure the handle's coming outwards, away from the stove right here, because when you wanna grab the handle, it's not getting covered up by any of the heat. So once you place the pan over on the stove, what you're gonna wanna do is grab your olive oil right here, crack this bad boy open. Then you're gonna wanna come over here. You could use a measuring spoon to help you. As we can see, we got a tablespoon right here. And what you're gonna wanna do is just pour yourself a tablespoon of olive oil, just like this. And then once you've gotten up to a tablespoon, just wanna pour it in the pan, just like that. So now with our next step right here, what you're gonna wanna do is get yourself half a tablespoon or a teaspoon of butter right here. So I'm just gonna cut off just a little bit right here, not too much. That's honestly a perfect amount right there. You could get a little bit more too, just like that. And as we can see, now we've gotten ourselves a teaspoon of butter. So now once you've made it back over here to the stove with the butter, what you're gonna wanna do is put the butter in the pan. Then after you've done that, you wanna put your knife down, and then you're gonna wanna turn on the burner on a medium heat. So once you've gotten the heat on, what you're gonna wanna do is basically move the butter and the olive oil around so it can cover the entire pan. As we can see right here, we're just covering it up before we pour in our other ingredients. So with our next step, what you're gonna wanna do is put in the onions first, okay? You wanna get all of those in the pan right there. So now once you've gotten your onions in the pan, what you're gonna wanna do is just stir them around so they can get evenly cooked. So now once you've got the onions sizzling in the pan, what you're gonna wanna do is throw in the ham, okay? Here we go, just get all of the ham in there. So now once we've gotten the ham in the pan, what you're gonna wanna do is start moving it around, cooking it up, making sure it's also getting mixed up and cooked with the onions. Now once you've done mixing up the ham with the onions, what you're gonna wanna do is then throw in all of your cheese right here. You wanna make sure you got all that in the pan as well. And then once you've done that, you wanna start mixing it up with the ham and the onions so it can all get cooked. So now that we've gotten this all mixed up cooking in the pan, what you're gonna wanna do is pour in all of your egg mixture right here, and boom! Once you've gotten that, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much simple from here. You just gotta let this bad boy cook up. So a good little tip when making omelets is what you're gonna wanna do is actually lift up the omelet a little bit and then let that loose egg mixture right there get underneath so it can cook evenly, and we'll do that here too. Just want to lift it up, get it down there. Same with the back over here. Lift it up a little bit. Let it seep in. Do that over here as well. Just very lightly so you don't obviously ruin the omelet. So as we can see, we've now flipped the omelet, and then we're going to go ahead and put it and slide it back onto the pan. As we can see, this is now the other side we're cooking up right here too. And also notice how I put the pan handle over on this side due to the fact that this was my area where I was basically putting all my tools right here when cooking. But it is fine to do this if you're cooking with nothing else around you. But say if I was cooking something else right here, it would be best if I kept the handle on that side. I want to turn off the stove right here. Okay, make sure the heat is off. Then once you've done that, you want to lift up your pan, and you want to go ahead and put your omelet in your plate. Just like this, let it slide out nice and slow so it doesn't break. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, you've gotten your omelet in the plate. As you guys know, I also did use some eggs when you know, cooking up this omelet, and I did put them on the counter. So you want to make sure you clean the counter as well. As we can see, this is the area that I had the eggs right here. So we're just gonna clean it up real quick. You can see right there. Just get it nice and spanking clean. So now that we've gotten our omelet on the plate, we got the fork and the knife right here. Well, without further ado, let's dig in, ladies and gentlemen. It's got a nice little cut right there. Not too big of a piece, not too small. That's very good. That's very good. So another great thing about this omelet, as you guys saw, I got the corner. We didn't get all of the good stuff though. So we can see in the middle right here, we got the cheese, okay? We got the ham. You also got a little bit of the parsley right here. Let's go ahead, get that all together right there on the fork. That's good. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the best omelet for the 6x16 assignment. This thing tastes amazing. It's healthy for you. It's very easy to afford it, and it's just a very quick dish you can make. Without further ado, bon appetit, and I'll see you guys later.